Hestia is a WordPress theme. It's not as powerful as themes like Divi, but if you want a professional WordPress website that's easy to use, Hestia is a great choice. First, I'll show you the main features of Hestia. I'll start with the front page sections. If you scroll down the home page of Hestia, you'll see it's built from what are called front page sections. And Hestia makes it easy to add these sections to your website. And you get at those sections via the Customiser. So when you're viewing the front page, click Customize. Now you want in the Customiser, you want front page sections. And all these different sections are the different parts of the home page. Now the easiest way to edit any of these sections is to look for one of these pencil icons. When you see a pencil icon, you can edit that bit of the page. So supposing I wanted to edit this title here, I just click the pencil and it opens the relevant part in the Customiser, and then I could just change the text, which would change the text in the page. To change the image, I just click the button that says Change Image. This part of the page is an actual web page on your website. If you click the button, it says About Content. So you click there and the Edit button, and that opens up the page that it's using for the About section. Then you can edit the content here. We're back to the front page. Now I don't use this subscribe to our newsletter section because it uses a plugin that I don't want to use called Brevo. But if you want to, there's clear documentation on the Themeisle website explaining how to set that up. The blog posts are taken from your blog. It just automatically draws in the most recent 3 blog posts. This form uses the WP Forms plugin, and all you need to do is paste in a short code to make that work. And you've got 3 footer widgets. If you don't put anything in the footer widgets, the footer won't show. And to edit any part of the page, click Customize, scroll to the thing you want to change, and click the pencil button. So if I click this one, I'll click this one, because this one's a bit tricky. I'm going to click that button, and you've got 2 settings, the General tab, which has got some text, and you've got the contact form, which you just paste in a short code. Now, this is a bit of a strange way of dealing with it. If you look at the text here, if you look further down here, there's opened up a little edit box. So by clicking these icons here, it will open this edit box where you can change the text. I'm going to close the Customiser. Now if we visit one of the pages, I'll go to the blog. These are featured images. So if you visit one of the posts, the blog post, this is a featured image. And the featured image, when you edit or make a post, you have the option to add a featured image. Now this featured image is going to be used in 2 places. So I'll save and I'll view the page. The featured image is used here in the hero header section of your blog post or of your web page. And if you view the blog listing, you'll see the featured image is used as well at the side of the excerpt text. So you need to be very careful when you make the featured images for your website. Creating the featured images for your Hestia website. Hestia uses the same image as your featured image on your blog page as it does for the hero header image. Now the problem is the hero header images are long and narrow, whereas the featured images use the original aspect ratio of the image. I'm using Windows Photos app, so if I click edit, I want to crop the image. I want to crop it to 16:9. Now if I put my mouse over and press my button, I can see these lines. And what I try to do, I try to get the center of the image both vertically and horizontally to have something interesting in it, because Hestia is going to crop the image on mobile phones. It's going to crop it vertically, and on a desktop it's going to crop it horizontally. And so if you get that central square to have something interesting in it, then your featured image should work on all devices. I'm going to save the image as a copy. Now Hestia will show this part of the image as hero header images on desktop and laptop computers, and on mobile phones it will show this part of the image. Now as your blog grows and you've got more blog posts, you've got an extra option for how the blog posts are laid out. So what we've got at the top here is 3 special blog posts, and they're featured posts. So if we go to Customiser, if we go to blog settings, we've got this featured posts, and you can choose a category here. So you've got your hero header at the top, then you've got 3 featured posts, and then you've got your blog listing. Now we can turn these featured posts on or off. Click this here, we can disable the section, or we can choose any of the categories we've got on our website. So if I disable section, the featured posts have been turned off. What I can do as well, I'm using the free version of Hestia, and I've got 2 options here, blog layouts, and I can have the featured image staggered or stacked. If I scroll to the bottom, see where it says post pagination. If we scroll to the bottom of this blog post listing, it's got page 1, page 2, page 3, and if I click the next one, it'll just show me the next page of blog posts. Now what you can also choose is, instead of a number, you choose infinite scroll. Now, instead of having to click through page 1, page 2, page 3, WordPress will automatically load the next set of blog posts as you scroll down. That's called infinite scroll. You can also choose the excerpt length. I've got 25 words in this excerpt here. I could make it longer or shorter if I wanted to add more or less teaser text to each blog post. Now I want to re-enable the featured posts at the top of this page. So I'm going to go back to my blog. So I'm on the first page of the blog. And I'm going to choose featured posts. I'm going to choose a category. And the featured posts have returned. I'm going to publish and then close the customizer. Now if I visit one of the pages, there are 3 options for the hero section at the top of each page, and we change those in the customizer. So I'm going to customize. So in the customizer, I want to go to header options, header settings, and I've got these 3 different choices. this is what I'm using at the moment. If I change it to this option, still got the featured image at the top, but the blog post title is now in the body of the page. Or if I choose this one, the featured image is now in the body of the page and the title is also in the body of the page. Now if you look there, the title is underneath the navbar, and the reason for that is I changed the settings. So we go to navigation, and I want to make it sticky. So if you find that the post title is hidden under the navbar, see if you've got a sticky navbar, and if you have, just change the option there to sticky navbar, and that's in the Customiser, Header Options, Navigation. Now, I don't want to use this layout. The layout I want to use is this one. Click Publish. Now, if there are any pages or posts on your website where you haven't set a featured image, you can have either a site-wide or a fallback image that will appear here. So if we go to Header Options, Header Settings, this where it says Header Image, this will, the image you put here will appear here on pages where you don't upload a featured image specifically for that post or page. So if we look at the blog page, if you look at this image here, if you go to the blog page doesn't have a specific featured image set. Now you can set a featured image for the blog page, but I haven't done, and that means that this image will appear there. It won't appear on other pages because it only appears as a fallback image where there's no featured image available. If you click this button here, it says Enable Header Image Site-Wide. If you click that, you'll get the same image through the entire site. So every page and every post on your site will have the same featured image at the top here. But if you don't click this box, then you can upload an image for each individual post or page. There are 3 menu locations in Hestia. So if we go back to the Customiser, go to Menus, if you click View All Locations, there's the primary menu, which is this one. There's the footer menu that appears at the bottom here. And there's the very top bar menu, which is the thin little bar at the top. This is the top bar menu. Now, I don't use this top bar because it doesn't display on mobile phones. On mobile phones, you get just a little bit. See there? That's all you get on a mobile phone, which I don't like the idea of locking people out. I want people to see the same whether or not they're on a desktop or a mobile device. But you can actually put a menu in the top bar if you want to. I usually disable the top bar completely, but you can use it if you want to. Now, most of the settings are in the Customiser, but there are some settings in the Page and Post editor. So if I select a page, I'm going to close the Customiser, I'm going to edit the page. Now this page has got the site-wide setting of no sidebars, but if I want to, I could enable sidebars here, and that would enable the sidebar just for this post or this page. Preview the page. Now you can also set the sidebars site-wide. So back to the Customiser, and I want to go to Appearance Settings, General Settings, and I can set the sidebars for pages and sidebars for posts. And the sidebar settings you choose in the Customiser will be site-wide. The ones you choose when you're editing a page affect just that page. Now, on the front page, supposing you don't want your front page to use these front page settings that come from Hestia, are built into Hestia, you can disable front page sections, and then you can build the page from scratch yourself. I'm going to turn them back on again, and you get the Hestia ready-made front page. Now, Hestia has quite a lot of other small settings in the Customiser, but what I've shown you here gives you a really good idea of what Hestia is and how it works. The important point with the Customiser is to drill down to find what you're looking for. Because quite a lot of these settings have got sub-tabs with more options inside them. So you need to learn how to drill down in the Customiser to find what you're looking for. Now, Hestia Theme is made by a company called Themeisle. And when you install Hestia, they will try and encourage you to install other plugins to go along with it. I don't install them. It's up to you if you want to install them. They want you to install OrbitFox and Otterblocks and several other plugins. Now, each one of these takes time to learn, and if you're not interested in all the fancy add-ons you get with these, it might be simpler to just install Hestia. I install Hestia and I don't install the other plugins because it makes it more complicated, and the whole idea of using Hestia is to keep it simple. Once you start installing these other plugins, it's no longer simple, it takes longer to learn, and there's less chance that you'll actually become good at using your website. But the choice is yours. This is a demo website that I made to show you how Hestia works. And I didn't install any plugins. I made this using Hestia and WordPress and nothing else. But if you want to install more plugins, feel free to install them. But remember, you'll be no longer dealing with a simple to use site. It'll get more complicated as you go along, and there's a good chance that you'll just get fed up because you can't understand how it works. The beauty of Hestia, and in my opinion the real reason to use Hestia, is because it's simple if you just install Hestia. Using patterns to build web pages. Hestia has got 14 built-in patterns. A pattern is a page section that you can add to your web page. So I go to my services page, click the edit page button, I'm going to place my cursor in the page, and then I click the block inserter, then I choose patterns, and there are some patterns that are made just for Hestia Theme. So I'm going to choose Hestia, not headers, choose Hestia, and I want to explore the patterns. If I click any of these patterns, it will be automatically inserted into the page. To use one of the patterns, I just need to click the pattern and that will be inserted into the page. Now if I close this block inserter, I can see the pattern that I just inserted. So I'll close that, and I can just change the text or replace the image. I can edit the button. If I want to put another pattern below that one, the easiest way is to use the list view and then choose the top level block. I can add after. So my cursor is now after that block, and same again, block inserter, patterns, the Hestia patterns, and I can choose any of the patterns. If I want to get a better view, I click Explore All Patterns. I know that I want to use this one, so I just click the pattern and it adds to my page. I want to click some more. This one and this one and then this one. So close the block inserter. Now I can edit these patterns that have been added to my page. Now you can build pages from scratch yourself, but there's 14 ready-made patterns and they're really, really useful. It's surprising how often you can just edit one of these patterns and make it look the way you want it to look. Now usually I add a bit of space between the patterns, so I want to add some space below this one, so I just click the top level block, add after. I'm going to add a spacer, so I'll type a / and type spacer. I can add a spacer. I want to reduce, I'm going to open the sidebar, the settings sidebar, so I can get a better idea of what's going off. About 30 to 50 pixels is usually enough space, so I'll add, say, 40 pixels. That's a bit of space between those two. Same thing again, add after this block, type a / spacer, I'm going to change that to 40 pixels. Now, just to make it a bit easier, I'm going to duplicate this a couple of times. And then I can just click the down arrow, click duplicate it again, click the down arrow, and I'm going to add one more at the bottom of the page. Duplicate, down arrow, and I'm going to save. I'll look at the web page and it looks okay. And don't forget, if you want to, you can edit the page in exactly the same way you would edit any other WordPress page using the block editor. So, on to add after this one, and I can use any of the blocks. I've got paragraph block, heading block, image block. I can add whatever I want to the page. But the best way to do it is using patterns, Hestia, and then choosing one of the patterns that are ready made. If you want to explore all the blocks to make it easier, you can do that too. Putting widgets in the sidebar. If you choose to use a sidebar, you can put widgets in the sidebar widget area, and you get these widgets here. There's all kinds of things you can put in the sidebar, and you get there by either going to the Customiser, then choosing Widgets, Sidebar, and here you can add things to the sidebar. So if I wanted to add something above this one, I just click in the sidebar, click Add Before. Now, I find it easier to use the widget areas through the dashboard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to close that. I'm going to go to the dashboard, widgets, open list view, sidebar. So now I'm dealing with the sidebar widgets. So it's easier now. I can select this, add before, and then I can choose I can then use the block inserter to add widgets. Now, there's a section called widgets, and that's got things like the latest post widget, or the search widget. All kinds of widgets are available. Or you can just build content using headlines, paragraphs, and things like that. So it's up to you. But I find that a much easier way to deal with the widgets. And you've got this block panel here. So supposing you select that, it then opens up the settings here, which makes it easier to deal with, I think. Now I'm viewing the blog post again. If I scroll down, we've got these sharing icons. Now these just open up the Facebook login page or the Twitter login page to make it easy for the viewer of your website to tell their friends about your website and spread the word. And you can turn them on or off. Go to Customiser, go to Appearance Settings, General Settings, and scroll down. We can enable or disable the sharing icons. So they appear or disappear depending on whether that's ticked. If we click Enable Scroll to Top, we get a little link that we can click to take us back to the top of the page. If we change it to a boxed layout, if you watch the edge of the frame here, it's just changed to a boxed layout. And if you want to disable the front page sections, you can do that and build your front page from scratch without using the built-in Hestia design for the front page. Go back to the Customiser, we've got Typography settings. You can choose a font family for your headings and one for your body copy. So if we change the default to a serif, if you watch this text here, change the heading text to a serif font. I don't want to, I want to go back to the default. We can change the body copy to a serif font. So if you watch the body copy, that's now changed the font type. I'm going to go back to the original. And you can change the font size for a lot of things. You've got the title, headings and content. So I make the title bigger. If you watch this text, reset. If you watch the body copy, make the text bigger or smaller or reset. And when it says front page sections, these font sizes will only affect the front page. Go back to the Customiser. I never use the background image option. You can put an image, a background image, when you've got a boxed layout, you can put a background image behind certain areas of your web page. I never use that, but you can use it if you want to. Now there's some button settings. Now this is confusing. If we go to the home page, these button settings affect certain buttons. It affects this button here. So we change the radius. Or if we change the padding, it affects this button. But it doesn't affect all of the buttons. So be careful and just take note of which buttons are affected and which buttons are not affected. But these are the button settings in the Customiser. But just be aware, it doesn't affect all of the buttons. Colours. So if we open the Customiser, go to Appearance Settings, Colours. We've got two colours. We've got background colour and accent colour. I've set these blocks to use the background colour and the accent colour. So if I change the accent colour, publish. Now I've got to close the Customiser before I can see the result. So all the colours that use the accent colour have now changed. Go back to the Customiser. Go back to Appearance Settings, Colours. Now I've set these blocks, these light grey blocks, to use the background colour. So if I change that background colour, green maybe, then I publish. I've got to close the Customiser, and then the colour has changed. If I edit the page, and the way I set the colours, I just chose one of, this is a group block, I chose the style and the background colour, and that's, now this one it says body, but in the Customiser, this body here is what the Customiser calls background colour, and this is the accent colour. So we've got accent colour and the body colour or background colour. The very top bar. Now if we go to the Customiser, header options, very top bar, you can enable or disable the very top bar here. So it's now enabled. And it says here, this sidebar is active but empty. In order to use the layout, please add widgets to the sidebar. And here it says add a menu. And when we're in Customiser, header options, very top bar, if you look carefully, there are two links here. One says customize the very top bar menu. You can click there, or edit the very top bar widget area here. So to add the menu, I just click customize very top bar menu here, and that opens up the menus, and we can add a menu, which is added here. I publish, and I'll go back, and I'll go to header options, very top bar, and I want to edit the very top bar widgets here, and that opens up the widget area. And you can just type something in. I'm going to add, I'll add a paragraph block. Going to make that text bold. And we've now got some text at this side of the very top bar. I don't use the very top bar because it doesn't work the same on mobile as it does on a desktop. So I choose not to use it. But if you want to use it, that's how you use it. Go back to the Customiser. Go back to header options, navigation, and we've got different options for the navbar here. So we can have it with the logo to the left, logo above. So now the logo is above the text, and you can also have a widget area in the header. So if you click that one, there's now a widget area available. Your logo goes here where I've got the site title. You can put some widgets in there if you want to, and your menu goes underneath. Now I prefer to use this one. It's logo left, navbar right. But whichever you want to use is available for you. This button enables search in menu. If you watch here, a little search icon will appear. I'll have to publish that and view it in front end. Now you've got this little search icon. So if people can't find what they want using the menus, they can use search. I'm going to show you the transparent and sticky navbar options. If you look at the navbar, it's transparent until we scroll, and then it sticks at the top as you scroll down. So if we go to header options, navigation, we've got these toggles here. Transparent navbar, if I turn that off, the navbar will become white. It's still sticky, so I want to turn the sticky navbar off. And now when we scroll, the navbar disappears. I mentioned this earlier, but if you reset this page to have this header, and you've turned off sticky navbar, the post title will hide under there. So to fix that, if you do choose that layout and you turn off sticky navbar, that's what will happen. So if you see that looks like that, just turn sticky navbar back on and it'll fix it. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this video, and if you're still watching, you'll have a good idea of how Hestia Theme by Themeisle works. Hestia looks professional. If you set it up carefully, you'll get a really professional looking website. It's one of the easiest WordPress themes to use. When I set up Hestia, I just use Hestia Theme. I don't install the plugins. Themeisle encourage you to install their plugins with the theme. In my opinion, you don't need them, and it makes it so much easier to use your website if you just stick with Hestia Theme. When I help people set up a simple website, I recommend that they use Hestia Theme and WP Forms plugin, and that's all you need, and you can build a really good website that's really useful with just those two things, as well as your WordPress. Anyway, it's been a long video, and I think we better leave it there. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy using Hestia. It really is a good theme, and it's relatively easy to use. It's worth investing some time and effort learning how it works. So I'll just leave you with a picture of Hestia's homepage, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.